Okay, so we're back with some more MXGP Pro. Now today, there's a couple things I want to do in these first few videos. We kind of do it with most of the new games that come out, but this video, I kind of want to go over the two strokes. Now, I've been grinding, man. The credits are like, whoa, everything's really expensive. The bikes are like 20 to 25,000 credits, and then parts can be anywhere between like 5,000 and 15,000 credits, maybe. I don't know. And then the gear is kind of the same. Next video will probably be customization, even though I can't really customize because I don't have enough credits. I just had enough to pick up the CR250 and the Kx 125 two-stroke. So we're probably going to go to two different tracks, one track with one bike, one with the other one, and then kind of test them out, show you what they look like, sound like, how they perform, and stuff like that. Now, I also don't have... I'm still struggling to try and find a really good setup for the two-strokes, but... you can kind of get an idea of what they're like. So we're going to jump into this, starting with the CR250. Okay, so here we are. We are at Latvia. Kegums? I always say Kegums, and people say, that's not right, Wyndham. That's not right. Kegums. I'll say Latvia. And we are on the CR125. I believe I have a setup. I was kind of messing around earlier, and it actually has ghost racing. Was that a thing in Supercross the game or any of the MXGPs? I mean, Time Attack has like always been in their games, but I don't remember ghost racing being a thing. Now, before we even get too far into it, I want to mention that the bike is not upgraded whatsoever. It feels very, very awkward. It feels heavy, slow, and awkward, which really does suck. I feel like when I'm playing right now, you know when you see those early videos of the gameplay and people are always like, they gave this game to a guy that doesn't know anything. He's never played a moto game, ever. They always give it to the worst person. Well, that's kind of what it feels like right now using this bike. I don't feel fluid, the bike feels heavy and just awkward, and I don't know. And the clutch, like I said in the first video, it doesn't really... It doesn't feel like it's doing anything. It's not making the bike react the way it should. And normally, I wouldn't really care. Let's throw a whip over this. Yeah, look at that. Ooh, look at that whip. Man, that was sweet. Anyways, it wouldn't really bother me that much, but I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, but I thought since they're marketing this game as realistic, and ruts matter, and the clutch is gonna matter, and blah, 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 the clutch doesn't feel like it matters. I mean, I'm gonna let it play out here so you don't hear me talking over it the whole time so you can hear it, but it just doesn't feel like it's doing anything. Ooh, we have an invalid time because of a track exit. My bad. So when we get around to the finish line here, I'm going to shut up so you can hear the bike a little bit. If you're basing your decisions solely off the two strokes to buy this game, you can hear the sounds, which the sounds, yeah, we'll talk about that after you hear it and whatnot. But I already mentioned it, I think. I already mentioned it, that the bike's not upgraded. It's totally stock. And maybe upgrading it will make it feel better, less heavy, more fluid, and not so slow, so incredibly slow. Now, taking this inside line is weird. You crash here so easy for no reason. But here we go. We're going to run maybe a whole lap, part of lap, and then just let you listen to the sound. Okay, so there you go. We actually beat our time. Throw in a little focus mode. The sounds, I mean, they're not terrible. I don't think they're the best. I mean, this doesn't make me think 250 two-stroke when I hear it. It makes me think two-stroke, but it just sounds a little on the wimpy side. But, I mean, I've heard worse. Definitely have heard worse two-stroke sounds. Don't really want to hit the Cairoli sign there. Come on, get going. The sounds just could be better, but overall, I'm not a huge fan of it. I love that they put it in the game, okay? It just feels like two-strokes in games, I just feel like don't get the love that they deserve, they demand. It's like, I mean, I get that the game is more based off of a replica season and riders and bikes and teams and tracks and stuff like that, so it's crazy to me that they even have the two-strokes in the game. And it's even more crazy that they have the CR250 and the Kx125. Like, those are the two random ones that surprise me. It surprises me a lot less that they have the TC125 250, YZ125 250, KTM 125 250, and then the TM. That surprises me less, but it just surprises me quite a bit that they were able to grab the CR250 and Kx125. Now, I do believe that the two-strokes in this game are the same two-strokes that were in the MXGP. I don't think they brought on anything different. It would have been cool if they could have added like the RM125 or RM250 or something like that, or the Kx250 instead of just the 125. It would have been cool to see them bring on a few other things, but that's getting pretty nitpicky because it's cool that they even did this. This was community wanted. If it wouldn't have been for the community saying we want two-strokes, we would have never had two-strokes in GP3 or GP4/MXGP Pro. So because of the feedback we got them, it just feels like the time spent on this was a lot less than the time spent on the four-strokes, and that's understandable. I do get it. So I guess I'm just happy to see him in the game, but it doesn't feel like, I mean, unless the bike gets 10,000 times better with being upgraded, which I don't see happening. Now, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. I don't see it being really that competitive. I mean, the AI already, at least from the get-go, is really, really hard on just the hard difficulty. I don't think I've actually won a race on the hard difficulty yet. I mean, that first video was atrocious. It was awful, but with our gameplay, but I've tried a couple other times, and I think I got third, but I haven't actually won one yet. And even like doing the championship in medium, AI difficulty is not that easy. And so to use an upgraded bike, or even if this thing's upgraded and still feels really weak, it would be really difficult, I think, to get a win. But having the AI this hard, at least off the gate, and for me, for casual players, for pro players, maybe it's not like that, but for casual players, and if you have the game and you're watching this later or whatever, I'd be curious to see, was the game just naturally easy right away for you? Did you have a small learning curve? I fully believe for a lot of casual players, there's going to be a short learning curve, but a learning curve nonetheless. And then to see how you guys are using the two-strokes and what you think of the clutch, because in my opinion, it just doesn't feel like it's there. It just doesn't feel like it has anything. So that's my opinion on it. And yeah, I think that's going to wrap up this part of it. We'll switch over to the Kawasaki Kx125 and go find ourselves another track to check it out on. Okay, so here we are with the Kx125 at the WW Motocross Park, Jacksonville, Florida, I believe. The one and only United States MXGP race from last year, I guess, because they're always a year behind. But yeah, I don't know. I rode like a lap here with it, and I don't really know. I mean, it's totally not upgraded, just like the CR250 was, but it feels better. Initially, it feels a lot better. It feels lighter, and I know that's a weird thing to say because, it's a video game. How can it feel? How can you feel anything? It feels lighter. It feels lighter, but it still feels pretty unresponsive and kind of sluggish. I mean, the clutch really needs to work better in these games for the two-stroke for people to get that kind of experience out of using them. You know what I mean? And it just doesn't seem to work that well. Now, maybe someone will figure out how to use it. Maybe I'm not doing something right. Maybe having the bike upgraded will help. I really don't know, but it just doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't. Now, on the other side of things, it feels like you're going really slow. It doesn't feel like, yeah, I mean, we're not going to be maybe moving like we would on the 450, plus the 450 is upgraded, but it just doesn't feel right. It feels awkward. And I already mentioned that, but it's kind of the same thing with this bike, I guess. And we'll probably do another video when I actually get enough credits, if that ever happens, to where we can upgrade one of these bikes. And I'll probably start with the Kx 125 because I'm already preferring this over the CR 250. But you can let me know in the comments if you'd rather see one more than the other. Now I will do a whole lap without me talking if you're waiting to hear the sound without my voice masking it. But I mean, it's holding its own. I don't really know this track that well because I think I only rode one race here when I was doing the championship, trying to grind out credits. So I don't know the track that great. Plus, I'm just not familiar with this track whatsoever. But we're trying our best to just get around. I know we're just like coming up short on everything, and it's a real struggle. Plus, I'm just learning the game, man. It's still like I understand the mechanics and the basic concept of it. It's just trying to make that all work together and not go down and not crash, because we are using the Pro Physics. Now, the only thing I am using is the semi-automatic transmission because I don't feel like shifting while I'm doing a video. But I'm gonna stop talking, run a lap, and you can listen to this Kx 125. Okay, so there's a lap. Now, right away, I was kind of a little more focused on what I was doing and less about what I was trying to say. Now, going back to the clutch, funny thing, it actually feels like the clutch is much more noticeable on the 125. Now, it's not as much as I would like to. I wish it was a little more noticeable and served a little more of a purpose, but it actually, you can kind of feel it when you're releasing the clutch. You can kind of feel, I don't know how to explain it, but it does actually not feel too bad. And the weird thing is it didn't feel like that on the CR250. Not near as much. But here I can notice it to some degree. And again, the bikes are the same. They're both totally stock. And it just, I don't know, you can kind of notice it. The 125 is actually kind of fun to use. Even totally stock like this, it's actually kind of fun to run some laps here and start ripping. It feels pretty good. And if you were using the manual, I mean, I'm using the semi-auto, so I was shifting by myself on that last lap, but now, again, I'm not. That's why someone's probably complaining that I'm in way too high of a gear, and I agree with you. It's just that's kind of how the auto transmission works. But, yeah, it definitely, I could kind of notice the clutch, and it was fun. It feels good using this thing. It's surprising. I was talking before how I didn't think it made a difference, but then that last lap, it definitely did. And maybe it's something to do with the track, because I'm using the exact same setup. Well, I mean, not exactly. The gearing's a little bit different on this thing, but suspension, everything else is the same as it is on the CR250. It's just a little bit different gearing on this Kx 125. So other than that, everything else is pretty much the same. And now I'm not clutching very much, and we're riding kind of chill, but yeah, I don't know. It feels better. Now, the whip still feels awful with it, and And maybe I'm not doing it right. Maybe there's more I need to do. Maybe I should watch that tutorial. I always skip the tutorial, and I remember in MXGP 2, I was like, oh man, you can't even whip at all. And then someone's like, you need to watch the tutorial because they said you need to push the thumbsticks together. Like, that was the first version of the thumbstick whip. Like, the push-together thumbstick whip that we ever got. And I didn't realize it until someone told me. So maybe there's something I'm missing, but I do know that he is throwing a whip when you do it like that. They didn't really change anything, so if anything, again, I feel like it went backwards. But like I keep saying, I do not feel like that is a reason not to buy the game. I guess if all you want to do is throw mad whips, well then maybe MXGP isn't the game for you, because this game offers so much more than just that. Another thing I want to talk about before we finish this video up is the graphics. I don't know if it's the graphics, but like the FPS feels... Tell me that it doesn't look different than it did in that last video. So it's like the FPS and everything is really smooth and it looks like we're getting a higher rate of frame rate just riding around on the not free ride, time attack like this than we are with the AI, which is understandable, but it's weird because with the AI it's like console FPS, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain that. It's like console FPS with the AI when you're racing, but then it's like closer to, I wouldn't say it's PC quality, but it's like, I don't know, it's just weird. It looks different. It looks different when you're riding around like this. I wish it was like this all the time, but when you race the AI, it's not like this at all. It's not like this at all. And wow, we're just hitting everything. I think this will probably be the final lap once we wrap this up. It's how long our lap times here. What was my best time? I don't have a registered best time because I keep going off the dang track. Looks like we were almost 2 minutes and this was 5 laps. Yeah, so I don't know, we'll keep going and wrap this up, but here's the 2-strokes. There are some other ones. If you want to see other ones, make sure to let me know in the comments and leave a like on the video, because we are going to grind, man. We are going to have to grind like crazy if we want to pick up some of that stuff. I want to buy other gear. I want to finish off this gear set. I still have the stock helmet, goggles, and boots. I just have the Fox gear. Now, next video will be a customization video, which I don't know how long it'll be because... Unfortunately, I mean, I guess that's the gear that they had this year, and maybe there's not new gear out. I don't know when the new gear releases, but everything's pretty much the same as it was in Supercross the game. It looks like they added a few other things, but yeah, the next video will be customization, and what else? Customization, bike and rider parts, gear, stuff like that. We always usually do that around the 3rd video, and then after that I don't know what we're gonna do. If you guys are leaving comments on what you want to see, that might not be till like the 4th, 5th, 6th video, because I'm probably knocking out a bunch of these pretty much all at once. So yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. You guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately, and if you want to see more, make sure to leave a like, and again, let me know in the comments what you would like to see so I can try and focus on getting a few of those videos done before we switch over to PC gameplay. I'm excited for that. But again, you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. And until the next video, take it easy.